Hi YouTubers, I was about, well, I'm going to actually do 2 videos, possibly 3, about this latest project that I'm doing, which is to paint a battalion of the Black Brunswick Lieb infantry. So I've been doing that for the past few days now. During this video I say that I'm going to do this within 3 days. Now that's fair enough if I was doing 8-hour shifts on it. So we'll say in fact it will probably altogether take me about 24 hours of painting time. Probably less because there's not that much to do on them. So I'm adding up the hours and we will see how we get on. Okay? YouTubers, I've been watching Mr. Chippy and Ringo doing their paint in a weeks and paint in a challenge videos, and I thought I would probably be able to do these very quickly, maybe in say 3 days, because they're Black Brunswickers. I started at about 8 o'clock the other night and finished at about 12:30, just getting them PVA'd and primed, and then the black on the uniforms. So I reckon once I've done the grey and the swords and the rifles and the collars and cuffs, which will be blue, then they'll be pretty much done. Oh, and the water bottles as well, because there's really not that much to them. So we shall see how I get on. The wife's out again today. It's Saturday, so we've got peace and quiet until she gets back at about 8:30, 9 o'clock with any luck. So let's see how much we can get on with. Day 2 in the Black Brunswick house, and this is what I've done so far. See, this bloke here is Frederick William, the Duke of Brunswick, and what I've done is I took a hat from, actually yes, talking of hat, these are all the hat Brunswick Lieb infantry set. So what I did is when I took a hat mounted officer from the British infantry set, which I had lots of, and replaced the hat with, where is he? That one there. The guy in the fatigue cap. Cut the bobble off the top, because normally you use this one, the one with the big cockade on there. So I replaced the head with that one, because the Duke of Brunswick wears a cap like that. So as you can see, that's what I've done, and I think he's not a bad attempt, to be honest. Now, where are we? Also cut the sword off there, because he's just going to be holding the reins, so a bit of trimming needs to be done on the hand, but apart from that he's alright. So yesterday I did most of the blue, so I did most of the sleeves and the water bottles and the collars. I have this 9, 10, 11 left to do, so I was hoping to finish those off today, which will leave me with the guns to do. I've done all the packs on the back of all the figures that have them, and there are 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I think there's about 35 of these to do. So yeah, oh, I've got to do the hair, the sashes, the rifles or muskets, bayonets, swords, and the cap badges, which is going to be a labour of love, I have to say. These aren't as detailed as the ones that Paul Alba has been doing, who's done a fantastic job on the skull and crossbones on the hats. I don't think I'm going to get anything like the detail that he's managed on his 18 or 15mm figures that he's doing, because they're just not as good quality. But even so, they'll have silver on the hats, which will at least give an impression of that. So I have two horses to do as well, and what I will probably add are two guys holding the standards, because I've got standards flags for this regiment as well. If the lead infantry don't have flags, then I won't do the flags. I'll get some other troops and paint them up as Brunswick line infantry, which of course these aren't. I'll need to look that up though, so if I need to do standards I will, if I don't then I won't, which will save me a bit of time. But day 2, coming along quite well. And I've got to finish the bridles on the horses and the hooves, and finish the saddle cloths, so getting there should be another 1 or 2 days to do. Okay, let's see. So back to Davina. Day 3 in the Black Brunswick house, and meanwhile Gary's up in his loft trying to get as much done as possible this evening. It's about 8:30 on Monday night, and I've been up here for about an hour, and I've managed to paint all their butts brown, because there's nothing like a large brown butt on a fine strapping young man. So I've done all the woodwork on the rifles, which leaves me with the metalwork on the gun barrels, the bayonets. It leaves me the silver on the shakos, and then the cartridge bags to do, and then of course the basing. So I'm hoping to get the gun barrels done tonight, and the shakos, because that will be silver, the swords, scabbards, and that will just leave me with the cartridge bags to do, which I've discovered if you just paint them white and then run the sienna or umber ink on the cartridge bags, it gets into all the little nooks and crannies and looks perfectly fine to me. So that is a very quick job, and that will be the last thing to do. Oh yeah, I'll probably have to do the brass on the guns, just to tart them up a bit. What I shall also do is finish him off a bit. If I just move him around a bit. I finished off his horse last night. Well, I haven't done the sheepskin on the front, but if I just hold him up to the light, trouble, you've got so much in the background. Oh, you're going to focus for me, dear boy. Right, okay. So this is, I changed the epaulets on there. I've got to do his grey hair, and that's about it. I've put some put some metalwork on the horse. Here we go. And he's about done as well. I'm quite impressed with how he's come out. Very impressed indeed. Sort of custom made character, really. For those of you who don't know, the Black Brunswickers were dressed in black because they were in mourning for their lost homeland, because it was stolen by Napoleon and made part of the Westphalia construct that he produced in Germany to balance Prussian expansion, Prussian power. So the Duke of Brunswick took 2,500 men, or more or less, out of what was his dukedom to fight for the British. And of course he was fighting for the British primarily to put Napoleon's nose out of joint, but also because he was King George's brother-in-law. He was married to Princess Augusta, and he was also his cousin. So keep it in the family, basically. So he married his own cousin, just priming the last 2 gun batteries of the French foot artillery while I'm at it, because pretty soon these lot are going to be done. So while I was waiting for paint to dry, I thought I'd stick these on their bases, dry them under my lamp. Oops, because it's a good thing to have. So as I've got some white to do, if I'm going to get a daub of white paint out, I may as well do the priming on these guys as well. Cuirassiers I'm also faffing around with. I intended to get those more or less finished tonight as well, because they've been around for a while. I've been sort of adding to them as the weeks have gone on, because I've had to mould these from scratch. But once those are all done, that'll be my first Cuirassier regiment. So watch this space, lads, and see you in a bit.